The first thing I noticed that morning wasn't the sunlight pouring through the tall office windows in downtown Seattle. It wasn't the quiet hum of the air conditioner or the distant sound of traffic 20 floors below. It was the shirt, my shirt, and the person wearing it. My CEO, Clara Whitmore, stood near the coffee machine in the executive lounge, sleeves rolled up, her hair slightly messy as if she hadn't slept much. But what truly froze me in place was the pale blue shirt she wore, my pale blue shirt. The one I was absolutely sure had been in my apartment the night before. Asterisk, my heart pounded as confusion tangled with panic. Something about the moment felt unreal, like I had stepped into someone else's life. Asterisk, if stories about unexpected moments, kindness, and second chances mean something to you, take a second right now to like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps stories like this reach more hearts. Asterisk, because the truth was, I didn't remember last night, not clearly, and whatever had happened between the moment I left work yesterday evening and the moment I walked into the office this morning had clearly changed something. Asterisk, my name is Jacob Turner. 3 years ago, I moved to Seattle with nothing but a suitcase and a stubborn belief that hard work could rebuild a life that had fallen apart. I had grown up in a small town in Ohio, where everyone knew everyone, where dreams felt small and predictable. But life had a way of forcing people to grow, sometimes painfully. Asterisk, 2 years before coming to Seattle, my father had passed away suddenly. My mother had struggled to keep the family house. I dropped out of college to help, taking odd jobs until an opportunity opened for an entry-level position at Whitmore Technologies. That opportunity was my escape, my restart. Asterisk, Clara Whitmore. The CEO of the company was someone most employees rarely saw up close. She was known as brilliant, distant, and intimidatingly composed. At 34, she had taken over the tech company her late brother founded and turned it into one of the fastest-growing startups in the Pacific Northwest. People admired her. People feared her. And I had never expected her to know my name. Yet somehow, she did. Asterisk, it started 6 months ago during a presentation disaster. A server crash had wiped out a crucial demo minutes before a major investor meeting. The entire tech team froze in panic while executives scrambled to improvise. Asterisk, I was the lowest-ranking developer in the room, but desperation gave courage. I stepped forward and rebuilt the demonstration system manually while everyone watched. It wasn't perfect, but it worked. Investors applauded. The deal went through. Asterisk, afterward, Clara had simply looked at me for a moment and nodded once. Asterisk, from that day forward, something changed. Asterisk, she began assigning me to projects directly. Sometimes she asked my opinion in meetings where people far above my pay grade sat quietly. Her trust felt heavy, like a responsibility I wasn't sure I deserved. Asterisk, but none of that explained why she was wearing my shirt. Asterisk, the memory of last night floated just out of reach, like fog hiding a road. I remembered leaving the office late. I remembered rain. Asterisk. And I remembered Clara standing outside the building alone. Asterisk, Seattle rain had turned into a storm that evening, the kind where wind pushes umbrellas sideways in streets, glow with reflections of neon lights. Asterisk, when I stepped outside the building, I saw her leaning against a black car that refused to start. Her driver had already left for the night. She looked different from the confident executive everyone knew. Tired, human. Asterisk, without thinking much about it. I offered to help. Asterisk, we tried everything to get the car running. Nothing worked. The storm only grew worse, thunder rolling over the city skyline. Asterisk, eventually we ended up in the small diner across the street, waiting for a mechanic who kept delaying. For the first time, we talked like two normal people. She asked about my hometown. I told her about my father. She told me about her brother, the founder of the company, who had died in a climbing accident 3 years earlier. Taking over the company had never been her dream. But she couldn't let his legacy disappear. Hours passed. At some point, the mechanic finally arrived. But the car wouldn't be fixed until morning. Asterisk Clara had laughed softly, then the kind of laugh that sounded surprised to exist. Asterisk. Dot. Was when I offered the spare room in my small apartment a few blocks away. Asterisk, it wasn't a decision made with ambition or hope. It was just kindness. At least that's what I told myself. Asterisk, the rest of the night was still blurry in my mind, but fragments returned slowly as I stood there in the executive lounge, watching her pour coffee. Asterisk. The storm had knocked out power in parts of the city. Asterisk, my apartment building lost electricity for an hour. Asterisk. We sat in candlelight talking about things neither of us ever discussed at work: failure, loneliness, the strange pressure of expectations. At some point she spilled coffee on her blouse, and I had given her one of my shirts. The realization landed like a quiet wave. Nothing scandalous had happened. Asterisk. Just two exhausted people sharing stories while rain hammered against the windows. Asterisk. But something deeper had happened. Understanding. Connection. Asterisk, the office door opened behind me that morning. Breaking the silence, asterisk, Clara turned, meeting my eyes. Her expression held a softness I had never seen. In the boardroom, asterisk, the strange thing about power is that people often think those who have it live perfect lives. But sometimes the people at the top are simply the loneliest. Asterisk, for months, I had believed Clara Whitmore was untouchable, someone who existed on a different level than the rest of us. Asterisk, last night proved something else. Asterisk was just Clara. Asterisk, a woman carrying grief, responsibility, and expectations heavier than most could imagine. Asterisk, and somehow, for a few quiet hours during a storm, we had both been allowed to put those burdens down. Asterisk, days passed after that morning. Yet the atmosphere between us shifted subtly. Asterisk, not romantic in the way office gossip might imagine, but warmer, more human. Asterisk, she smiled more during meetings. She asked how my mother was doing back in Ohio. Once she even insisted the entire tech team leave early after finishing a major project. Something unheard of before. Sometimes the smallest moments change people in ways the world never notices. One evening weeks later, she called me into her office. Seattle's sunset painted the skyline orange behind her. She told me something unexpected. Asterisk. For years, she had believed leadership meant distance, control, perfection. Showing weakness felt dangerous. But that stormy night reminded her that companies weren't built by titles. Asterisk. They were built by people. People who needed trust. People who needed kindness. People who needed second chances. Before we reach the ending of this story, there's one special request. If you're still listening right now, comment the word kindness below. It helps the channel reach more people who need stories like this. Asterisk, months later, Whitmore Technologies launched. Its biggest project yet, expanding into new markets across the country. During the celebration event, Clara gave a speech to hundreds of employees. Asterisk, most people expected a typical executive speech filled with numbers and predictions. Asterisk, instead, she told a story about a stormy night. Asterisk, about a young employee who offered help without expecting anything in return. Asterisk, about how simple kindness had reminded her. Why she chose to lead. She never said my name. She didn't need to. Asterisk, because when she finished speaking, her eyes briefly found mine in the crowd. Asterisk, and in that quiet moment, I realized something powerful. Success isn't always measured in promotions or money. Sometimes success is knowing that your small act of kindness helped someone else rediscover their humanity. Asterisk, if this story touched your heart even a little, please take a moment to like the video, share it with someone who believes in second chances, and subscribe to the channel for more emotional stories like this. Asterisk, because in a world rushing forward every second, we often forget something simple. Asterisk, the moments that change lives are rarely loud. Sometimes they happen during a storm. Sometimes they happen over a spilled cup of coffee.